Hello, hello. I know I promised to be more consistent with this, but things happen. Oh, I couldn't be more consistent with it. But we're here again, and we're gonna be continuing the Spread Adventures. We're getting close to Shadowbringers, from what I remember. Last I remember, Thancred, fell over, which means we're getting very close to Shadowbringers. We're nearing the end of Stormblood in general, and this is the prelude to Shadowbringers. So the setup for the new expansion. Urion J agreed to meet us at the Rising Stones. If any of the others heard the voice, we'll find out soon enough. Good luck. I should get back to the meeting with the Elder Seats here. But if there's anything I can do, anything at all, you must let me know. Alright? Promise me. Right, let's be on our way. Okay, well, that's nice. They take us to the Rising Stones for us.
Urianger! God, it's good to see you.
Would that our meeting were under happier circumstances. I judged the voice sufficient cause for concern even before you sent word of its effect on our comrade.
You heard it too, then?
Aye. And all but certainly at the selfsame instant. Alas, pained as I was, I could make little sense of what few words did then reach mine ears.
Who do you think is responsible? Could this be the Ascians doing?
That I cannot say. Not when so little is known. Ere I indulge in speculation, I would examine Thancred with mine own eyes.
Well, he's back at Garapon. Yeah.
Without further delay.
He's back in Alamigo.
One other thing. During my visit to the Far East, I observed a strange phenomenon.
He should have just came to us at Alamigo. Why do we have to go to him? Whatever.
Thou referrest, I presume, to the localized reduction in etheric density.
Well, that spares me the trouble of an explanation. Yes, I noted precisely that at two apparently unconnected locations. I take it the phenomenon is not limited to the Far East.
Indeed not. Of late, our agents charged with surveilling the beast tribes have spoken of little else. In every corner of the realm, they tell of places in which the ether hath grown thin. Naturally, my suspicions first turned to primal activity, but the areas thus affected betray no evidence of summoning. I must confess to being quite perplexed.
If the same phenomenon is being observed in multiple locations on opposite sides of the world, we may safely discount regional factors. Needless to say, this warrants further investigation.
I don't remember if they ever described this. I didn't think if they ever did, but I don't quite remember. If they did, I don't think they ever mentioned it in Shadowbringers. But it'd be very moot point to just explain this once briefly and never explain it again. I'm not quite sure.
Indeed, I shall make it my task to. The voice. It calleth to me once more.
I hear it too.
Only you. Only you.
No! Ishtola! Urianger!
Throw wide the gates.
No! No, this can't be happening! Y'shtola! Urianger! Open your eyes! Open your eyes, I beg you! Say something! Anything! Not again. Please, not again.
It cannot be discounted that Mistress Krell has heard the voice as well. Unless Sitaru to send her word of what has come to pass. This is an unprecedented predicament for the Scions. We must remain strong, for the least of us, most of all. Forgive me, that was an unseemly display. It happened before your very eyes, my lady. None here would have behaved any differently. We have borne the two of them to a private chamber. But tell me, is it true that Master Thancred languishes in a like state in Alamigo? I'm afraid so. Though given the circumstances, it would seem best to observe them together. I will send word to Lys that he should be brought here. Take heart, my lady. The world is full of scholars and knowledgeable folk of every persuasion. Someone out there is bound to know what ails our comrades, and how it may be cured. Thus we will rouse them, no matter what. That we will, Hori. That we will. But first things first. Our comrades will have questions. May I ask that you explain the situation to them? I must attend a private matter. Oh, I promised I'd visit someone in Limsa. He's been waiting at Maelstrom Command for a while now. You know, you should come along too. I think he'd be glad to see you. I do forget how unsettling they make this feel. Especially the sounds they make during the cutscene. Very unsettling. As you probably guess, it's Gabu we've come to see. The private here will bring him out to us. Ever since a maelstrom took him in, I've tried to visit as often as I can. And after what befell our friends, I was taken by the urge to visit again. It's difficult to explain.
Here he is, my lady.
The poor little kobold that got enthralled.
Gabu, it's been too long.
I'm afraid there's been no change. If he can see or hear us, he has given no sign.
I see. You're still fighting. I'm proud of you. We promised that we would come and visit you together, didn't we? Alphino and I. I'm sorry that we haven't managed that yet. You know, with the three of us like this, does it not remind you of that night? Of the stars beyond count twinkling in the heavens? I was feeling pretty low back then. Powerless. But I knew that my brother was close by if I needed him, and that the others would be waiting for me back at the Rising Stones.
What a nice design choice to make it also a night with star skies.
Not like now. I've seen my share of trouble since coming to Eorzea. Been reminded again and again of my limitations, of how little I can change about this world. And I've come to know the sorrow of parting all too well. But to have the people I hold dear struck down before my eyes, and be powerless to help them, that I cannot bear.
You don't have to bear this burden alone.
No, I don't. You're right. It's pure arrogance to imagine I can solve everything by myself. You'd think I'd have learned that by now. Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you. Well, that's more than enough brooding for one day. Come on. We have friends to save.
You know, Alyssa has grown a lot too since you first meet her. Let's return to the Rising Stones and take it from there. Thanks again for agreeing to come. It meant a lot to me. Both the twins learned a fair bit since you first met with them. Alphino was a very arrogant, all-knowing, stuff like that, very pretentious. But after his bout in ARR, you see him change a lot more. Open to more perspectives, open to realize that he doesn't really know everything. And he goes through growth from there, realizing that he can't solve everything, and some things can't just be solved diplomatically. Not everything can be solved with just words and papers. Aliza, on the other hand, she's a very hot-headed character. She wants to fix everything by fighting. Not very good with the diplomatic part. She wants to be very independent and try to fix things herself. That's why they first initially split, the twins, back in AR. She didn't agree with Alphino's way of diplomatic reasoning, relying on others to also agree with his plans. mutually agree to a plan. Alize is more like, I want to fix this myself. But she's also learned to rely on others and realize that she can't do it herself as well. Less arrogant in that fighting way too. Both have grown a lot since when you first meet them. I did some thinking on the way back, and I think Jorge is right. We need to seek outside help. Ordinarily, we would turn to our own experts on such matters, but they're both among the stricken. We'll begin by reaching out to the myriad guilds and research institutions here in Eorzea. Additionally, Grandfather and Minfilia had a wealth of connections between them. And I mean to explore those avenues too. We'll find a way to save everyone, mark my words. Much and more has happened in recent days. Some of it for the good, some not so. But all around me, people continue their fight. From the shinobi who search for Alphino, to the Alliance members who make ready to move against the Empire. I had to sneeze. They march on in the face of great adversity, bearing heavy burdens. Everyone is playing their part, and so must I. You have your own part to play, I know, and it's bigger than most. So I won't keep you. Just promise that you'll visit from time to time, and I'll promise I'll have good tidings to share with you when you do. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace.
The Populares no longer present an obstacle. Now is the time to bring the Empire's might to bear. A word from your radiance is all it takes. But one word, and the Imperial army will fall upon Alamigo as a pack of bloodthirsty wolves and tear that feeble nation apart. Have you no words for me? Despite the lengths I go to, an emissary playing the part of a fool. When first I took this face, I swore to use all of my knowledge, all of my power, to further the cause of the Empire. My deeds stand testament to my commitment. And with this adamant flesh at my disposal, I could destroy the Icon Slayer as easily as one might swat a fly. Why do you hesitate? Our enemy is resourceful. Though victory is certain now, it will not remain so indefinitely. Deliberate if you must, but be quick about it. We'll speak again when you have unburdened yourself of doubt. Until then, I take my leave, Father.
Should he really be revealing all that with soldiers right there? Like, why is he revealing all that with two people there?
I should be the one to sigh. I played my part to perfection. I had earned my rest, and then, thanks to La Habrea's crowning act of idiocy, our favorite emissary sees fit to summon me back. Elidibus was ever a warrior. A most tiresome trait, would you not agree?
Oh, he's here. many people's favorite character.
Have you no words for me either? No matter. I've long grown weary of this mummery. Now, my dearest grandson, let me remind you of your place in the simplest of terms. You do not make judgments, you administer them. Swiftly and to the letter. Naught else is your concern. Elidibus may be an insufferable bore, but he is no fool. His choices as emissary seldom err. If aught threatens the balance twixt light and dark, it falls to you to remove it. Be it by your own hands or by your armies, you have ample means at your disposal. That is why this empire exists, why I built it. Oh dear, have I touched a nerve? You always were an easy one to read. I pity you, I do. As they say, ignorance is bliss. And I know how much happier you would be not knowing the things you know. The Founding Father was an Ascian. And he created the Empire solely for the purpose of sowing the seeds of chaos. Don't take it personally. I merely do my duty. To bring about a calamity requires no small amount of power. And there is no surer way to obtain such power than by collecting powerful pawns. To that end, I have labored long and hard, and I must say I am quite pleased with my handiwork, paltry though it seems in comparison to Alag.
Fiends are overfond of your own voices. Mark me, Ascian. Man is the master of his own destiny.
Such a waste of time and energy, both yours and mine. Lest you forget you are Emperor now. If you wish to spout drivel about man's destiny, save it for the masses. It will serve to give them a sense of purpose, and you pliant pieces for the game. Oh, do stop sulking, boy. You, of all people, should understand. Ours is a struggle to restore both mankind and the world to their rightful state. Viewed thus, our goals are one and the same.
Meanwhile, at a resistance encampment somewhere in the Empire. Solus Sol Scalvus. Yeah, it's the first time you get to meet him. Many people's favorite character. We see Alphen of the Black Wolf. What's in the world? Oh. Dead. All dead. It has seen no wounds nor evidence of battle. Damn them. They finally used it. The Empire developed an alchemical weapon in Garabania. A gas. Black Rose, it was called. And to breathe it in, and to breathe it is to breathe your last. And that did this? I thought the project abandoned, and its vile fruit destroyed. But not else could have wrought such an atrocity. Fools. What do they hope to gain with this butchery? Can they not see that a rule won through terror will not endure? How many more provinces must they lose? Nay, wait. This is not the work of men, but monsters. The Ascians. It cannot be a coincidence that their trail led us here. Their objective was never to rule, but to sow strife and discord. Such a crime does indeed bear the mark of the bringers of chaos. Black Rose cannot be allowed to kill again. We must find the Ascians and put an end to our plot. Well, that was... Word? Not quite sure about my OBS just randomly crashed. Okay. That was very weird. Well, let's continue on.
I'm glad you've come, though I'm afraid there's little in the way of good news. After you left, we reached out to both the Alchemists Guild and Stillglade Fane and attempted all manner of treatments. But the results were always the same. Whatever the answer is, it's not alchemy or conjuring. Why did it have to be Y'shtola and Urianger and not me? Out of all of us, they are the ones who could feasibly have solved this puzzle. And Alphino's still missing. God, it's all going wrong. Where do we even start?
A grave situation indeed. Might I be of some assistance?
Kryle! I did not think you well enough to travel.
When word reached me of the plight of our friends, I could not well stay away. As a fellow scion, not to mention your erstwhile mentor, this is one of those times you should feel free to call on me, regardless of my personal circumstances.
Yes, I should have thought of that. Thank you for coming, Kryle. We would welcome your insight.
I often forget that Carl was their mentor. Both twins. Back in, Charlene.
And I should be happy to provide it. Now, what's this I hear about Alphino heading into Imperial territory? That boy always did have some funny ideas. Do you remember the speech he gave when he was accepted to the Studium?
My life's goal is naught less than the salvation of this star.
Oh. Poor guy can't even defend himself.
That particular grand pronouncement has been a source of great embarrassment to him, as you know. But the fact of the matter is, he meant every word and has lived his life accordingly.
Yes, he remains altruistic to a fault, but I'm worried he was too fixated on his goals to see the dangers, as has happened before.
You needn't be so concerned. Though his values remain the same, Alphino is not the blinkered boy he once was. Slowly but surely his eyes have been opened, thanks to a certain someone. A certain someone whom he'd be mortified to learn had heard about his little speech. Mum's the word, eh? Right, I'd better have a look at our patients.
Poor
They're in
guy.
the infirmary, I assume. I'll need absolute quiet, so it would be best if I did this alone. If you'll excuse me.
Poor little Alphino. Being embarrassed.
All three are in fine physical health. At a glance, I would say they were merely sound asleep. Except for the fact that I couldn't sense the slightest trace of them in their bodies. It's as if their souls have taken leave of their physical forms.
Ah, yes. The Elder Seedseer made a similar observation.
I've read the report. When you heard this mysterious voice, you described feeling as if you were somewhere else, yes? If we assume the ether which comprises your essence is being drawn to some other place, then it may be possible to follow the trail it leaves behind, just as we did in our search for Thancred.
I wasn't around for that, but I can't imagine it was easy.
Oh, it wasn't. But that's no reason not to try. I will have need of Master Matoya's crystal eye if I'm even to make the attempt. So I suggest we pay her a visit.
Not a bad guess. To use that to trace the soul. Quite a clever solution to the problem. Oh goodness, I forgot how far you have to go. Oh my goodness. Guess we're gonna be traveling for a long time. Oh, I figured you're allowed mounts in here. I believe it's this way. It shouldn't matter, I'm flying anyways. But don't wanna go around unnecessarily. forget how big this place really is. A lot of these Heaven's Ward Plus places got a lot bigger compared to what you see here. Well, I suppose it's a trade-off because there's less places to go. There's like 6 main places for expansion, but are huge. Which is better or worse? It's arguable. I don't think overflowing places that look similar is very, very helpful either. Please do keep Alphino's little speech to yourself. You can be awfully sensitive at times. I'd heard Master Matoya was something of a recluse. This seems extreme. Still, I'll happily overlook her eccentricities if she agrees to help us. I forget if we have to do anything this time around. I don't remember.
Come to disturb my peace again, have you? I hide myself away in a cave, and still you people insist on pestering me with your problems. Oh, I mistook you for young what's-his-name, but I see now you're the sister. Weren't you supposed to be the lively one? I've seen happier faces at a rain-sodden burial.
Not much different.
Well, I'm sorry to dash your expectations, but the situation isn't exactly conducive to gaiety.
Ha! That's more like it. Stoller used to spit and hiss like a wildcat too. Better for a young thing like you to be filled with fire and leave the doom and gloom to your elders. Now, what exactly does this tragic situation of yours have to do with me?
If I may, Master Matoya, we have need of your crystal eye once more.
And Stoller is one of the afflicted, is she? Very well. She may be an ungrateful stray, but she's my ungrateful stray, and I'll not see her buried before I am.
How old is Matoya? I don't even know how old she is. Like, clearly she's elderly, but like, how old?
Right. Let us see what we can see. I'll begin from where our friends first fell, and cast my senses out from there.
What is it? Did you find them?
This doesn't make sense. How is it even possible?
How is what possible? Kryl, what did you see?
The threads, they just ended. And no, I didn't lose track of them. I followed them as far as they went. It's as if they were cut off.
Could their ether have dissipated? If it had, oh gods! Their bodies are just husks. It's like the Broodmother's daughter all over again.
No, this is different. The Kalyana girl was already dead, body and soul, when Lakshmi effected her resurrection.
Aye, let's not jump to conclusions. If their physical forms yet breathe and show no signs of wasting, then it follows that their souls must still be intact somewhere.
But where?
That's the question, isn't it, girl? Death has not taken them to the ethereal sea, yet there are no tracks left for us to follow.
We're no closer to an answer than when we started. But knowing their souls are still out there is progress of a sort. We just have to keep looking. Pray, excuse me a moment. Yes? I remember, but... What, to Alamigo? We're on our way. That was Lee's. Apparently, a group of Populares have defected to Alamigo, and Maxima, the envoy Alphino left with, is one of them. I'm sorry. I realize we've barely begun here, but...
Go, child, go! You've made up your mind, and life's too short for dithering.
I'll do some digging in the meantime and see if there isn't some other method we could use to continue the search.
Let's be off then.
Oh, not again. The enchantment barely seems to take these days. I chalk it up to old age, but I rather doubt it's that simple.
Before they took ill, Y'shtola and Urianger were sharing notes on a thinning of the ether. It seems to be happening all over.
Does it now? And here I was, all set to blame my woes on that creaking mountain of refuse clogging up the Thaliac. I fear something has gone awry. Still, there's naught to be gained from starting in shadows. You can only do what can be done, and that but one thing at a time.
I'm sorry you couldn't do more. I've never seen a soul's dread in so abruptly before. So that was the woman who tamed Y'shtola. I had a distinct feeling of being grabbed by the scruff of the neck and having the nonsense shaken out of me. When Alphino is back, I'd like to visit again and ask her what the tales she has of grandfather. I almost can't bear to hear what Maxima has to tell us. But it can't be bad news, can it? Lise would have said, unless... there's no point speculating. Lise said she'd notify the guards of our coming, so we should head straight to the palace gate in the Alamigan Corridor. I'm preparing for good news. Learn what you can about Alphino's plight, and leave the search for our friend's lost soul to me. Yeah, we are left Alphino-less right now. Well, we know. We as a player know what happened, but our warrior of light and the rest of them don't. Alphino will be alright. Yes, B. Greetings, Scion. The commander told me to expect you, so I show you in. Yes.
I'm sorry to drag you halfway across the realm, but when Maxima mentioned Alphino, I thought you'd want to hear the news in person.
Ah, we meet again. Though I was hoping our reunion would be under more auspicious circumstances.
What happened to my brother? Where is Alphino?
Never fear, my lady. Your brother was in fine health when I took my leave of him, and I have no reason to assume that has changed.
You assume?
If you will allow me, I shall endeavor to explain events. Our troubles began not long after we departed Doma. While crossing the burn, we were fired upon by the Emperor's personal guard and forced to make an emergency landing. As we stumbled from the wreckage, our attackers fell upon us again, and we would have perished there and then were it not for the intercession of a third party, a band of mercenaries whose leader claimed to pursue a vendetta against the Ascians. This Shadow Hunter, as he styled himself, then escorted us out of the wastes to relative safety. Upon arriving back in civilization, I gathered my Populares colleagues and prepared to flee the Empire. Master Alphino, however, declined the invitation to join us, preferring to continue his investigation into the Ascian threat.
Well, at least he's not lying in a heap in the burn. Tell us more about these Ascian hunters. Who are they? And is Alphino still with them?
He is. As to who they are, I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. Beyond the fact that they root out and destroy Ascians, they were unwilling to divulge anything which might serve to identify them. They would not even reveal their next destination. But Master Alphino asked to accompany them all the same. Since parting company with your brother, we've been engaged in a game of cat and mouse with the Emperor's guard. We made our way through province after province, finding the army busy restoring order wherever we went, until we finally arrived here in Alamigo. I cannot thank Commander Aldin enough for giving us such an unexpectedly warm welcome.
I'm not inclined to turn away refugees, no matter which land they call home. And if they can tell me how things lie in Garlemald, all the better.
On that subject, there is much I would tell you. During the course of our journey, we heard tales that an entire rebel army had been slaughtered in the space of a single night. It would seem my former comrades grew tired of putting down uprisings in the conventional manner, and chose instead to bring a formidable new weapon to bear. Details were sparse, but the rumor alone was enough to dampen the flames of rebellion. I have also heard reports that several companies have withdrawn from their designated provinces and begun marching westward. It is my assessment that the Empire's forces are mobilizing for a large-scale military engagement.
Westward? You mean they're getting ready to invade Alamigo?
We knew this was coming, but not that it would be so soon.
We've barely even begun to shore up our defenses. They won't stop an invading army.
No, they won't. Dispatch messengers to the Alliance leadership requesting reinforcements, and send word to our officers in the field to hasten completion of those border fortifications. Prepare to meet the Imperials head on! No matter how quickly we act, we still want for time. When the enemy comes into view, our best recourse will be to open negotiations with their commander, and see that the ensuing proceedings take as long as possible.
Would you and Alize head to Doma and let Lord Hier know about this? I'm sure he'll want to hear about Alphino too.
That's a far trip you're asking.
We'll send word when...
Untold sorrow must be changed. Ahead looms a calamity. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates.
it too. Well, at least we're both still standing.
Oh, thank the gods. I thought we'd lost you for a moment there. Why does this keep happening?
I wish I knew. Nothing we've tried has brought us any closer to an answer. We'll keep working on it. But first, we need to go and see Lord Hien.
Anyways, that's a far trip you're asking. Really far trip. Alphino's safe, for the present at least. All we need to worry about is full-scale Imperial invasion. I'm actually glad Lee's tasked us with visiting Lord Hien. Better to be dashing from place to place than sitting around stewing over things we can't change. The Enclave. Yeah, but my teleport money. Who's gonna pay for the teleport money? That's a lot you're asking me. That's a lot of people here. The fall of Rabanastre was not the end of our nation. We who survived retreated underground and have been gathering strength to mount a counteroffensive. Almeska will rise again. I have come to represent the lands of Nangsha. Long have we struggled in defiance of the Empire, waiting for such an opportunity as this alliance presents. After their humbling at your hands, Magni and his Orinir have spent every waking moment upon the training fields. Defeat does not sit well with the son and his children. The Imperials have enjoyed the freedom of the Ruby Sea for long enough. 'Tis time they paid their dues. We of the Blue Kojin will not submit to the Empire's tyranny. If only our Red Brethren would awaken to their folly. Alone, Doma could accomplish little against Empire, but in concert with the allies who we've gathered here today, we might do much. Hikaru, you have arrived in time to witness the beginnings of our new alliance. Our proposal struck a chord with many of our neighbors, I'm pleased to say. Greetings, my friends. I was just discussing future endeavors with the members of our newly formed alliance. The Kojin and the Confederacy you already know. It was your own strength of arms that won us the cooperation of the steppe tribes. We have also been joined by our neighbors from Nangsha and the indomitable citizens of Almeska, though the scattered nature of the latter's resistance will somewhat delay their official induction. These proud people have united under a single purpose, to stand against the tyranny of the Garlean Empire. I'm glad to see your alliance is coming together so swiftly. As things stand, I fear we shall soon have need of your strength. I thank you for bringing me news of Alphino. His fate is never far from my thoughts, and not only because he is our emissary. As for the sudden deployment of Imperial forces, I agree that Alamigo would be wise to shore up its borders with all haste. Every report we receive from our shinobi indicates a massing of troops in the western provinces. It seems all but certain, but the Empire is poised to bring its fists down upon Eorzea. And it would help deflect that blow, but I cannot risk sending reinforcements just yet. We remain vulnerable to airborne assault until our wall in the burn is in place. The all-important elegant energy barrier. Energy barrier. Yes. I thought to call it something more auspicious. The name drawn from the four legends, perhaps. Terius Aegis, or some such. Well, just a thought. Ironworks engineer report that they have finished calibrating the generators and are ready to proceed to the testing stage. Have you had time to attend the first test? You've seen the field which protected Azizla firsthand, and I would be interested to hear how you think ours compares. I will come too, if you don't mind. Though I'm no Y'shtola, I may be able to offer some insight. Of course. Time being of the essence, it would be best if we made directly for the burn. Yugiri, I leave you and Hakuro to bring the War Council to a close. Understood. Your mounts are settled and ready, my lord. Where are the storms? I hate spell speed. That's okay. As expected, Sui no Sato failed to answer the call. Not that I blame the Ruby Princess. Enlightened as she is reputed to be, it could be no easy task persuading her people to relinquish their long-held isolation. You obviously have some idea of what to expect, having seen a barrier at Azizla. But having not had that pleasure myself, I'm exceedingly curious to see a wall capable of keeping out one of those massive Imperial airships. If we can but block the Garland airships, the speed with which they can deploy their forces will be greatly diminished. We across the burn by Yol and Falcon. As before, join me at the Overlook near the House of the Fierce. Give the word when you are ready to take wing.
It seems the engineers have matters well in hand. Should the barrier work as we intend, Doma will be free to reinforce her allies in Alamigo without fear of weakening her own borders. Honored friends, the time has come to put your hard work to the test. Start the generator.
Node 1 is operational. Nodes 2 to 8 are reporting similar energy levels. The barrier is forming. 1,000 yards. 2,000. 3,000. Expansion remains smooth. No fluctuations detected. Altitude reached. The barrier is holding steady at 5,000 yards. We've done it.
Is that an Imperial airship? Of all the rotten timing.
But this is a gift, Mistress Alize. They can test our new wall for us. Seems solid enough, though I was hoping for a fireball.
By the gods, it's Alphino. What are you? Let me go! He has my brother!
Lower the barrier!
Be at ease, girl. The lad is not dead, merely locked in slumber.
No, not him too.
We could identify no cause and found no remedy. Thus I sought to return him to Doma, and into the arms of Lord Hien himself, it would seem. It is a day for fated reunions. Would you not agree, adventurer? Or should I address you as the Warrior of Light?
The Black Wolf. Gaius Van Belsar. Both the same name.
Aye. Gaius Van Belsar. The Black Wolf. That was the title I was given. One I have long since relinquished. Stand down. The legatus of the 14th Imperial Legion died in Castrum Meridianum. I am no more than Gaius Belsar, a man without rank or allegiance.
Impossible. There's no way you could have survived.
I agree, everything exploded.
Do you remember how it unfolded?
Yeah, everything exploded. You used the ultimate weapon, you got blown up.
How I was deceived by Lahabrea? How I was convinced that reviving the ultimate weapon would allow me to bring peace to Eorzea? The Ascian used me, as he used so many others, all to further the restoration of his wretched god. Yet even with the might of Alec at my command, you bested me. And as the Praetorium went up in flames, I was content to burn along with it. For a moment at least. A moment of folly. To surrender my life thus would have been to betray all who died for my cause. It was for them that I dragged myself free of the rubble, and swore vengeance on the Ascians. Black Wolf has shed his pelt, never to return to Garlemald or her legions. I live now only to exact revenge.
I didn't realize that was his mask, I'm not gonna lie.
My principal quarry was to be Lahabrea, whom I gather you have since ushered onto oblivion. But so many more remain. Long as their kind lurked in the shadows, laboring to sow chaos throughout our world, I would see each and every one dragged into the light and put to the sword. Are the Scions not of like mind?
In this single respect, perhaps.
Then I shall continue the partnership the boy began, and share what intelligence I have acquired. Among the Ascians, the Black-Masked Ilk are subordinate to those who wear red. This you already know. Yet among the Red there exists a hierarchy. Those set adrift with the shards clearly stand below those still joined to the source. Nabriales, who once dared to intrude upon the Rising Stones, belonged to the former group, and while he was indeed a dangerous foe, his powers were inconsequential next to the paragons of the Source. The first was Lahabrea, who plagues us no more. There is also the white-robed Elidibus, and the elusive Emmet Selk, about whom little is known.
We have files on Lahabrea and Elidibus, but I believe this Emmet Selk is new to us? As I assume my brother told you, we have evidence to suggest that an Ascian now walks in the body of the Crown Prince. Have you identified this interloper?
Elidibus seems the most likely culprit. As emissary, it is his role to maintain the equilibrium between darkness and light. Your many deeds in Hydaelyn's name have upset the balance, and I believe he seeks to restore it by throwing his considerable power behind the Empire. As a leader of the Ascians, he is one of our primary targets. It was on the trail of this very prey that the boy and I came across the scene of a failed uprising. In the absence of a single Garlean casualty, we inspected the bodies of the rebels, and the lack of any external injury drew my immediate attention. They had been slain by Black Rose, an alchemical invention of the Imperial Army. When I yet served as legatus, I ordered its production halted, and all stockpiles destroyed. Toxic gas is not a tool of conquest, but of extermination.
Toxic gas? This must be the new weapon Maxima warned us about. Something deadly enough to sweep away all resistance in a matter of hours. Gods. You don't think they're planning to use this in Alamigo, do you?
Put your fears to rest. We infiltrated the production facility and destroyed all existing stores of the chemical along with the plant itself. Even should they rebuild the operation, they will not soon manufacture another batch. Regardless, I would draw your attention to a directive we discovered in the plant's records. The document was marked with a recent date and authorized with the signature of one Zeno Ciegalvus.
A dead man signing the death warrant for thousands. 'Tis bad comedy.
But the tale does not end there. Within that same facility was a chamber filled with devices of elegant design. Cloning technology, we realized. And what should we find in each and every incubator? But a young Emperor Solus. All of which prompts the question, were the Ascians responsible for these abominations, or was it the will of the Emperor? I must know which hand guides the Empire. Though I have given up my rank, I am yet a son of Garlemald, and I will fight for the future of my homeland. It is time I return to the hunting of shadows. We should focus on our common foe. To reopen old quarrels now would serve no purpose.
You saved my brother's life, so I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie. But in truth, it's not my decision to make.
Not wrong. There are more important matters at hand.
There was a time when I scorned those who placed their faith in false gods, even as I, in my blinkered conviction, place mine in Ascian promises. Unlike yours, my strength of will and my restraint was found wanting. We shall meet again, warrior of light.
Congrats.
So that was the infamous Black Wolf. An unexpected ally, to say the least.
Are you keeping your incap or what?
Well, I am content to leave the fine-tuning of the barrier to cleverer minds. Let us bid our friends from the Ironworks farewell, and see what can be done for Alphino back in Dorma.
So I might just get both your incaps from you and Fruit. The foil ones anyways. Well, it depends if you want to keep your incap. You know, this still doesn't explain how he lived. He lived by sheer willpower. Yes, that's gonna save you from explosions and fire everywhere, but you know, sure. I guess we'll just ignore that little writing flaw. Even should our alliance send a contingent to Eorzea, I will stay here in Doma with the remainder of our forces. As much as I would enjoy taking Imperial heads at your side, we cannot leave our borders undefended. What uncanny timing that Master Alphino should be returned to us, just as we were testing the barrier. I only hope a cure can be found for his malady. Otherwise, the War Council has ended in unanimous agreement. We foresaw the Empire's expansion plans in this region. Our allies are willing to send troops to fight in Eorzea. Alphino safely ensconced in a private chamber. My finest healer examining him as we speak. Well, they're all going to come back with the same thing. I've spoken with the physician, and there is no outward signs of illness. Alphino is lost in a sleep from which he cannot be awoken, just like the others. It seems that even the lands of the Empire were not far enough away to escape that cursed voice. I share your frustration, Alize, I do. But Alphino is returned to us alive and otherwise unharmed. All that remains is to find a means to wake him up. Until then, you can but fulfill your duties as a scion. Yours and your brother's both. You're right, of course. There are arrangements to be made, and little time to make them. The business then, my lord. Now that we know Seriu's wall works as intended, can we expect reinforcements for Alamigo? You most certainly can. As promised, we will send troops to bolster our allies in Eorzea without delay. Pray be aware, however, that they will not arrive without delay. Save for some few who boast teleportation magics, the bulk of our force must be transported by sea, a lengthy voyage for which the smaller vessels favored by the Confederacy are ill-equipped. Accordingly, I mean to enlist the full assistance of the East Aldernard Trading Company in finding suitable ships. As for navigating the distances in question, we are in happy position of being able to call upon those who plotted the course of my people's exodus to Eorzea. Beyond the procurement of ships, I think it unlikely that our East Aldernard friends will consent to any involvement in military operations. I am certain they will afford Alphino a berth aboard one of their vessels. I shall have a chirurgeon accompany him every ilm of the way to the Rising Stones. You have my thanks, Lord Hien. Yugiri, I will go on ahead with our friends to Alamigo. Enlist all those capable of teleportation to put them at the disposal of Eorzean Alliance as soon as possible. They will form the vanguard. Yes, my lord. This is exactly what we hoped for. Lease and Alliance leaders will be glad indeed to welcome the combined strength of the East.
Our supplies of Black Rose have been ruined, but the new plant is already under construction. We should have the first batch ready in time for the offensive, Your Radiance.
See that you do.
Ah, yes, the infamous Black Rose. If I recall correctly, Gaius did not much care for the invention. A ruthless and indiscriminate weapon indeed, this airborne poison. It seems you are capable of making decisions worthy of your bloodline.
With no gift for sorcery, we Garleans must look to Magitech to even the odds. If it spares the needless deaths of our soldiers and serves the cause of this empire, there is no method I would not employ.
How very noble of you. Truly, though, I must commend you for embracing your role as Emperor. You play the part of the determined ruler well. Sometimes even I catch myself believing. A silent agent of death. Now that I think on it, Black Rose may well possess the perfect aspect. Slowly but surely, the deluge of light has worked upon the ether here in the source, and the gas should be most susceptible to its influence. Well, I shall leave you to your own devices. Go forth and bloody the land with your grand and glorious war.
While you do what, precisely?
Need you ask? I will be doing what all Ascians do.
I am well aware that your kind exists only to usher in the next calamity. But you seem oblivious to the harm your singular agenda causes to the Empire. You cannot have forgotten the events which followed your mortal demise. Our homeland was plunged into civil war for your failure to name a successor. The edifice you so carefully constructed was but a hair's breadth from collapse.
Are you truly so naive? You thought me oblivious to the consequences of a departure so painstakingly timed?
It was by
design?
Well, of course it was. Though I will admit the resulting panic exceeded even my wildest expectations. But how can you be surprised? Throwing the world into disarray was the very purpose for which this nation was, as you say, so carefully constructed. Now, if you have no further questions, I must be on my way. Since we may not meet again in this lifetime, it would be remiss of me not to offer a word or two of gratitude. I really must thank you for this surplus of vessels. I can mold any host into my own image, but having bodies tailor-made for me in this fashion is so much less tiresome. You dabbled in Allergan cloning techniques, yes? It certainly is a compelling, not to mention entertaining, field of research. And of all the options available, you chose the Founding Father on whom to experiment. You have a twisted streak to you, Varus, like grandsire, like grandson, hey? If events play out as planned, this will become something of a family enterprise. You will be the capstone of this world, I the anchor and shard, and together we will give the lie to this star's fraudulent existence.
Solus has a good voice actor. He has a very sarcastic tone behind it. Very entertaining. Come, let's return to Lys and share the good news about our Far Eastern reinforcements. We must leave now to convene with Eorzea's leaders. It may be some time before we return to Doma. Hakuro, I leave you in command. My lord. I shall assemble an advance party with all haste and join you in Alamigo forthwith. I've just received word from Lys. The Alliance has established a base camp near Alamigo's northeastern border. Once we've arrived in the locks, we're to report to a resistant officer stationed in Porta Praetoria. Will point us in the right direction. Let's not keep them waiting. Where the heck is Porta Praetoria? Oh, I see. The final push location. Here we are again, ready to fight the same foe. Yet it would not be anywhere else. This conflict concerns us all. Come what may, we cannot allow the Empire to regain its grip on Alamigo. Here, I think we found the guide Lys mentioned. Ah, you must be the silent party. I was told to look out for you. If you'll follow me, I'll take you directly to Alliance headquarters. Alright, there's another dungeon here. Forgot about that.
Welcome back, you two. Greetings, Lord here. Glad you could join us.
Glad to be here. I would have come sooner, where our own defense is not in question, but I am pleased to report that our soldiers are assembling for deployment to Alamigo as we speak.
We're grateful for your support. Thanks to the efforts of our allies, it won't be long before we've established defensive positions on this front as well.
We have some good news too. Alphino has come back to us. As for the bad news,
so Alphino won't wake up. Gaius van Baelsar is alive and hunting Ascians, and the Empire is planning to poison us all with toxic gas. Does that sound about right? Ordinarily, any one of those things would have left me in shock. But the way things have been lately, it's all starting to seem pretty normal. Getting back to your report, are we sure this Black Rose is the weapon Maxima was talking about?
It fits the description. And it seems we have Alphino to thank for sparing us an early demonstration of its effectiveness. I have a feeling this won't be the last time his bravery in the Empire will serve us here in Eorzea. The threat of an unknown weapon has had us all on edge. But now that we know what we're dealing with, we can take steps to defend against it.
I can defend against the poison.
As for Gaius,
An
I'm not
airborne
sure what to
poison.
think. Am I happy he's alive? Not in the slightest. Am I happy he's hunting Ascians? Aye, I'd have to say I am.
Oh, speaking of Garleans you didn't expect to see, we have a tale of our own, as it happens. When we sent envoys to the Imperial Army to request talks, they returned with the message that Varissos Galvus would be attending.
The Emperor himself. Well, Varus did sanction the Popularis peace mission. But knowing that an Ascian walks in his son's skin, I do not see how we can trust him or anyone from that nest of vipers.
The Alliance would proceed with negotiations regardless, if only to give ourselves more time to prepare. We do, however, require your cooperation.
Right. Yes. So, as a condition for the talks to go forward, the Empire has requested that a member of the Scions be present. There'll be a representative from each Alliance nation, of course, but I'm afraid we have to ask that you come along too.
God, Lise, you know how much I hate politics. But then, what choice do I have? Alphino and the others aren't going to do it. Very well. I shall attend as the Scion's representative.
In case you're wondering why I didn't ask you, the Empire also requested the presence of Eorzea's champion.
I'm not fond of politics either.
Oh, you're not, are you? Come on, if Alizé can put on a brave face, then so can you. Now, we don't know what Varus means to bring to the table, or why he wants you there, but having you close at hand should make all the difference.
The meeting will take place on the border. Anticipating an early assault, we mean to position the bulk of our forces nearby.
The Alliance leaders should already be on their way. Once you're ready, we can head out and join them.
If Charlene cannot negotiate peace with the Empire, I very doubt war can be avoided here. For every moment we steal for our preparations will count in the final reckoning. Is Emperor Varus enthralled to the Ascians? That's a question. Should the Empire decide to ignore the rules of parley, we could be fighting far sooner than we'd like. Keep your weapons close. Well, I don't suppose it's polite to keep an emperor waiting too long, shall we?
Esteemed representatives of the Eorzean Alliance. On behalf of the Garlean Empire, I thank you for inviting me here today. As this parley was convened at your request, I invite you to speak first.
Very well, Your Radiance. I, Nanimo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, should be pleased to oblige you. As recent events in Alamigo and Doma have made plain, the subjugation and exploitation of neighboring nations is not a sustainable policy. Should this day end in war, you may very well defeat us, but you will never extinguish the people's desire for freedom. Though it may not be in our lifetime, there will be another revolution, another war, and the cycle will continue. Doma has entered into a concord with the nations of Eorzea, a partnership wherein we recognize one another as equals. Garlemald could be afforded similar treatment. You need only set aside your ambitions and join us in paving a path towards peace.
You will not win me over with sophistry, Your Grace. As you know only too well, this alliance lacks the strength to keep the peace within its own borders. Even now, your struggles with the Beastmen continue unabated. Divided, you sow this fertile soil with the seeds of your differences and reap naught but discord and chaos for your trouble. Eorzea must be united under one leader, one purpose. I would offer you both and bring an end to your strife.
You know, something I also did notice, rewatching some of these cutscenes, is how smart they put like camera placements for stuff as well. When you initially look at Ferris, the camera panned upwards toward him, right? Which gives him this feeling of power over you, because you see him looking down on you. So there just shows a power gap from just camera placement alone. I find very interesting. Good touch. I think I never noticed first time around you know that much.
With all due respect, Your Radiance, the only thing that you offered the people of Alamigo was fear and hopelessness.
The citizens of Doma can also attest to the meager arms of imperial rule. There is no purpose to be found in a life of oppression, each day more uncertain than the last.
Our people are willing to die for their freedom. A great many already have, and countless more will, if we don't put an end to this madness here and now.
We brought order and stability to your lives. This madness and bloodshed is of your own making. You broke the peace, not Garlemald.
Peace. Order. You kill our peoples, despoil our lands, take everything that is ours. And what? You expect us to lick the boot that grinds our faces into the dirt?
I expect you to weigh the costs. To recognize that countless lives have been lost on both sides in pursuit of a greater good, and to not squander all we have achieved in a fit of petulance.
Your Radiance. I fear I can personally attest to the dangers of pursuing one's vision with such righteous fervor. For 1,000 years, the Holy See of Ishgard waged war with dragons. A 1,000 years of sacrifice, of sorrow and hate, in which we bathed in the blood of friend and foe alike. Had it gone on any longer, we may well have drowned. Yet we have chosen to raise ourselves out of this bloody spiral, and have since made peace with our former enemy.
So I understand. No doubt the dragons were more receptive to your overtures in the wake of their leader's demise. You speak of peace, yet use war to achieve it. Your father would not have bothered to obscure his intent with honeyed words. He understood that strength is all that matters in the end. Without his clarity of vision, I can but wonder what will become of Ishgard and her people. There was a time when Garlemald too lacked a leader of conviction. Weak and unable to wield magic, we were at the mercy of the strong, from whom we sought refuge in the bitter cold of the north. Were it not for the discovery of ceruleum and the subsequent development of magitech, we might never have gained the power to take back that which was rightfully ours.
You speak as if your people were the first to have been driven from their homes. Limsa Lominsa was built by wayward souls in search of a place to call their own. On the shores of Vilbrand we found it, and from those humble beginnings did we grow and flourish. And all without robbing our neighbors of their liberty.
So saith the pirate. Am I to believe that you simply asked the kobolds to yield up their lands and that they were happy to oblige you? That you did not drive them out like rats in the hold of one of the many ships seized by your privateers? I will concede that after centuries of exile, reclamation may be mistaken for invasion. Nevertheless, it is not. And those who till stolen soil have no right to object when cast out in turn.
Your uncompromising nature rivals that of the Ixal. They too lament circumstances which they themselves perpetuate. Were they but to embrace peace, we would welcome them with open arms. Indeed, some few have done just that, and now receive of the Twelve's Wood's bounty. Would that your people might learn from their example.
You dare compare us to the Birdmen? You who thought to invoke the 12 and threaten all of creation?
I came here in the hope of finding some speck of common ground, but I see now these discussions will accomplish nothing. Despite what you people may believe, I am not wont to choose the sword over the olive branch. 'Tis but a pity men are loath to accept one without first being shown the other.
wait! I beg you. This meeting was supposed to be a chance to find a way forward together, not to bemoan the missteps which brought us here. Please. If you truly consider violence a last resort, there must be a way we can come to an agreement.
As Mistress Alisaie says, we did not come here to bicker over the past, but to discuss how we might strive towards a brighter future. Emperor Varys, may I suggest a short recess, that all present might compose themselves prior to beginning anew?
Very well. I pray this intermission will suffice to move these talks in a more constructive direction.
Good timing from Alisaie. Whatever rebuttal I had in mind was lost when Varys mentioned my father. The man is certainly skilled at keeping his opponents off balance. For a moment I feared our talks would descend into violence there and then. Alisaie speaks of her dislike for politics, but her honest plea may very well have presented an early battle. I do much wonder at Emperor Varys' decision to attend these negotiations. It is plain he has no intention of hearkening to our entreaties. But what then is his goal? 'Tis true that Limsa beginning were not wholly honorable, but our old wrongs now make the Empire's deeds right. For years have we warred with the Empire, with no end in sight. A parley such as this represents a unique opportunity, and I would not squander it with bitter words. Varys holds fast to his ideals, just as I knew he would. He will not be swayed from his path. Why do I get a feeling that the Emperor is hiding something? What exactly? Phew, this is really not my forte. After his Radiance's low performance, it was all I could do to not swear at him. I honestly don't know how I ended up playing the mediator. I just asked myself what Alphinaud would have done. Tried my best to do the same, and by some miracle, it worked. But there really is no common ground to be found with that man, nor do I think he looked for any. So the question becomes, what did he come here to do? Because you may be certain it wasn't to make peace. Whatever it is, I can't make it out. Not yet, at least. We do have a little time before the parley is due to reconvene, though, so why not try consulting our illustrious leaders? Mayhap they have some insight to share. This parley was never like to bring peace, but I had hoped to learn something of Emperor Varys' relationship with the Ascians. As had we all. Yet if he is in leagues with them, he is not like to volunteer the fact, and if he is not, how much weaker would his position seem for their presence? If we are to broach the particular subject, we will need to be subtle. Would that I knew more of the man, if you would indulge me. Lord Hien, you have received imperial education, did you not? Is it true that the Emperor's will is considered absolute? There is no higher authority in all of Garlemald. Nor else in the heavens. Come to that. Veneration of the gods is forbidden. The only worship permitted being that of his Radiance's own person. That suspiciously sounds like a religion itself. I share your disdain for their hypocrisy. Even as they denigrate the idea of faith. They revere their leader with a fervor others reserve for the divine. This is a flaw common to much of the doctrine they fed us. Logical on the surface, perhaps, contradictory upon closer examination. I wonder if a discussion of various discrepancies might prompt Varus to reveal something. I will say one thing of this Varus. He is well versed in Eorzean history. His interest in our affairs is that of a beast of in its prey. The conqueror would know his enemies. All should know their enemies. Yet there is much and more we do not know of the Empire. And it's up to us to change that here and now. You would have me ask the Emperor himself. Well, mayhap there is some wisdom in that. If we can skirt the storm of his displeasure, we may yet come to our answers, even if it does mean sailing close to the wind. 12 have mercy, but for our Lady Alisae's timely interjection, we might well have come to blows at the negotiation table. Not that Emperor Varus left us great many options. Is unconditional surrender all he will accept, do you think? Ere he arrived, I'd say yes, but having heard him speak, I can help but think he came with some other end in mind. Exactly, he is building up to something, I know it. How then should we approach the rest of the parley? Have you anything to say, Warrior of Lights? Invite Varus to explain himself. You believe he is more apt to reveal the truth if we put him at ease. Mayhap you are right. Thank you, Hikaru. You've spoken with everyone then. Good. Now all that remains is to await the pleasure of the Emperor, and hope we fare better in the second attempt.
Now then, who would have the floor?
Before we resume, I wish to offer you an apology. After you graciously accepted our invitation to discuss an armistice, we have done naught but rebuke you at every opportunity. I believe I speak for all of us when I say we are deeply sorry for our discourtesy.
I'll admit your familiarity with our affairs surprised me, and served to remind me how little I know of yours.
I think all here can understand the desire to reclaim one's homeland. But why expand further? That is my question.
If I may, the answer can be found in the Imperial doctrine they took great pains to impart to my people. Recognizing the threat icons posed to the world, Solus Zos Galvus decreed that they were to be eradicated. To this end, he began a campaign to unite all lands under the Garlean banner. Or so we were taught. Yet the Emperor only reached the burn, the Barrens said to have been laid waste by icons, after conquering all the lands that lay between. What is more, I am quite certain the practice of summoning was not nearly so widespread in the days before the Empire's founding.
When you put it like that, it all starts to sound like an excuse, doesn't it? But to distract from what? Why are you really waging this war?
Finally, you ask the right question. I can but hope you heed mine answer and at last accept the righteousness of our cause. My goal is this: to return the world to the way it once was, the way it was always meant to be. In doing so, mankind will be made whole once more.
Sounds similar to what the Ascians say.
No longer will we suffer from the dissension born of our differences. There will be but one race, a perfect race, as we were when time began.
What in Rulga's name are you talking about?
I am talking about the origins of this star, of the source and its 13 reflections. At the instant of the great sundering, 'twas not only the world that was shattered, but mankind itself. Thus were we divided into myriad races, each with its own unique imperfections. That is why man looks upon his neighbor and feels fear and hatred, why he wages war, why he kills his brother. You all in your own way have proven as much today. The peace you seek is but a fleeting solution to a fundamental problem. One which calls for more drastic measures. To bring about everlasting peace, our worlds must be rejoined. That is the goal the Empire would see realized. The glorious future unto which we shall one day shepherd mankind.
A rejoining of worlds.
I did not think they actually mentioned this early on. To be fair, when you first hear this, you're thinking like, what the heck is he talking about? But this makes a lot more context, like contextual sense when you know more about the story. So remember this moment, because it is a very important part. But I did not expect them to put that bombshell here.
This tale of the source and its reflections before.
Are these not the self-same desires as the Ascians?
Yeah, exactly.
Emperor Varys, do not trust in their words. They will lead you to your doom. My father thought to use them, but in the end he succumbed to their temptations. He embraced summoning like so many other pawns before him. Do not tell us you mean to do the same.
To be a pawn, free from the burden of choice, would be a blessing. But I forswore that privilege the day I learned that the Garlean Empire was built by the hand of an Ascian.
What?
Yes. My grandsire, the former Emperor, is of their number. And who better to build an empire capable of bringing about the calamitous change we desire? Would you condemn me for this alliance? For bowing to the will of these shadowy masters, when the prize is true and lasting peace?
Both designs kind of suck. Your prize is a lie, your master's demons.
I come not to conquer, but to liberate. To free man from the prison of divergence. Imagine a world united. One perfect race beneath a single standard.
See, camera padding like this is just brilliant to me.
An army
They're all
before whose
deliberate.
might these servants of darkness and light would fly as leaves in a storm, never again to meddle in man's affairs. We would be the masters of our own fate. I bid you join me, not as subjects of Garlemald, but of a new nation. And together we shall win freedom for ourselves and generations yet unborn.
You want to trigger another half-dozen calamities? You can't be serious!
I'm not quite sure why I keep crashing, but I keep crashing. Well, my OBS keeps crashing. Not quite sure why.
Have you forgotten how many died? There will be no one left.
Do you truly imagine we would aid you in your bloodletting?
It is unthinkable, unconscionable.
And what is the alternative? To be as cattle waiting for slaughter? I would have us work together, that we might take fate into our own hands!
Into your hands, perhaps. But what of the other worlds, your radiance? With every calamity, you obliterate a star and every soul that dwells on it.
To the Ascians, we are all but tiny, momentary specks within an indifferent universe. We cannot hope to oppose them until we have been made whole once more.
Are these truly the words of Garlemald's ruler? The flaws and foibles which you so abhor are what make us who we are. Every nation, even yours, Emperor Varys, is made whole through the combination of these imperfections, the strengths of one compensating for the weaknesses of another. While it is true that man succumbs all too often to anger and avarice, he may yet overcome his baser instincts through the forming of bonds with others, fostering community and cooperation. That the protector of an empire should not only reject these fundamental truths, but seek to change them at so dear a cost to life is indefensible. Such a man is not fit to govern.
And you, warrior of light, would you refuse me as well?
We can defeat the Ascians as we are.
It would seem the Alliance is of one mind on this matter.
You Eorzeans never cease to disappoint me. Though I suppose I have only myself to blame for expecting more from savages. This discussion is at an end. I bid you make ready for our next meeting. It will not be at the negotiating table.
Hello, Numi. What are you doing? Hopefully I don't crash again. It's been happening many, many times now. I'm glad we arrived in time to aid in the battle. Though our vanguard may be small, these few are our chosen elites, the finest warriors of the Far East. We suspected Ascian meddled in the shadows of the Empire, but the truth is far beyond my wildest imagining. At least now we know the face of our enemy, and need not hesitate to strike at its heart. His grand plan is to bring about more calamities. This is insanity. This madman must be stopped at all costs. There's a lot of people here. The Empire exists to wage war, and war it shall have. But the vast armies pour in, like the tides themselves. This could very well be the greatest military threat Eorzea has ever faced. Have they fought anyone else? I feel like all of this story has just been like only fighting Garlemald. And I guess icons. But they're not really a military. So I'm not quite sure what he's talking about. Yeah, I don't know. The Temple Knights have deployed in full strength. Eorzea's future is Ishgard's future, and our fate ride upon the outcome of this conflict. The Ascians are terrible beings indeed. That they would found an entire nation to further their dark designs. It seemed that the Empire's history is as sinister as Ishgard's own. My first engagement as Flame General is a full-scale war with the Empire. I feel some measure of nervousness, of course, but I swear I will make Father proud in the battles to come. Now that we've learned the Emperor's true purpose, war has become an inevitability. It's times like this I curse my own uselessness in battle. Send me to the front lines, if you please. We'll give the Imperials a taste of the Maelstrom's cannons, not to mention my axe. It makes a twisted kind of sense that the Emperor was built by the Chaos Bringers themselves. The revelation yet rattles me, but now that we know our enemies are one and the same, we have a target upon which to unleash the full force of the Alliance. I refuse the Emperor's words with all my being. What justice is there in an ideal that demands the sacrifice of so many? I was born in an empire, but I will never serve the Emperor. Only the Seed Seer commands my loyalty. I didn't even know he was Garland. Learned something new today. I came back to find Doma's advance party ready and waiting for battle. So as worrying as our little chat with the Emperor was, it did buy enough time for at least some of our allies to arrive. Base of 4. Next one's Gimlet Dark, isn't it? Dungeon. Seems about fitting to be next.
I'm not sure what I was expecting from our meeting with the Emperor, but it wasn't that. Still, at least we know now what he's really after.
Aye, a future built on a mountain of bodies. I too want the Ascians dead, but not at any cost.
The last of the reinforcements from Doma arrived not long ago. I pray it will be enough. Given the Emperor's stated goal, this is a battle we can ill afford to lose.
If the Gallians come in force, we may not have much say in the matter, even with our combined strength.
We knew from the first that the odds would be against us. But if there is even the slightest chance of victory, we must do everything in our power to seize it.
We must seize it, full stop.
Here!
The two of you are to join an irregular unit and support the main host. I won't bother asking if you're minded to fight.
After coming this far, how could I not? And for once, there's no one around to countermand me. Not that they would. Not even my brother. But We all know who really make the difference. Ready to frighten some Garleans?
I wouldn't want to be on their side.
Might I ask you to accompany the Dorman contingent? They are strangers here, and your presence would do much to raise their spirits.
We would be honored.
When our people stride out with you in their midst, I dare say the Eorzeans will feel an ilm taller themselves. High spirits have a way of spreading.
Ah, what I wouldn't give to join you. But my duties as field commander will not allow it. I'll leave the front lines in your capable hands. Comrades, ready your arms. The hour of battle has come. May the crystal guide us to victory!
Since the others couldn't be here, we'll have to fight twice as hard. If Alphinaud wakes to find the Imperials have won, I shall never hear the end of it. It's strange. I thought I would be terrified when the fighting started. I should be terrified. But with you at our side, I can't help feeling everything is going to be all right. So please, don't you dare leave me alone. No matter what happens, we have to survive together.
We can tell that weighs heavily on our mind. Was right, it's Gimlet Dark. Figured it was. My duties at Field Commander demand I remain here at my post, but I have no doubt the front lines are in capable hands. What do you have to say before we actually get in there? Stay focused now. Let's show the Emperor what we're made of. The Eastern Alliance stands ready to fight. Let's seize victory this day and secure tomorrow for all our peoples. There's a chill in the air. I speak not of the weather. Nay, this is the palpable tension that precedes a bloody battle. Alrighty, let's go to Gimlet Dark. Oh, we get Samurai Tank again. Oh yeah, you could tell there's a lot weighing into the Conscience Palisade. She's terrified of being alone. She really is. Which I guess I can't really blame her. She's been with her twin brother for who knows how long. Probably not felt a sense of being alone. So I understand why. Ow. No, I should be using it. 3 targets should be using AoE. Few targets is Jolts plus Scatter. Don't ask why. Oh, they did the numbers. Why they did the numbers such, I don't know. I'm not a developer. Full cast. I believe your melee combo 3 is still better for melee, and AoE is better when it's straight more. It's been a while since I've actually looked at it. Pretty sure that's the case though. Plus it goes upon saying that a proc is better than yours. But that's not even up for discussion. Thankfully, Lucid Dreaming doesn't pick up my full cast like everything else does in this game. I forget what my AoE button is. I found it. Oh. It's so rare to ever use that AoE button. AoE sword button is like so rare. I don't do content that has 4 more targets. Group like that? Can't remember the last time there was a raid with 4 more targets group like that. You go down. Oh, I should add on. I had enough time to backcast that. boss is so dang. I could also just be under here. Goodness, that boss is tanky. I'm on the wrong side. Oh, that's probably because I was on denser my main before I switched. It is not worth using my 2 minutes here. I will use mine here now. I almost totally used the wrong ability.
I shan't hold back!
That monkey died so quick. Someone's doing like insane first, single target first. I don't know who it is. Wait, me. Someone is. Forgot there's enough floss here. Right. was gonna be very upset if they didn't give it to me. How did the healer get there in time? I hope he doesn't go away. Oh, my melee combo. Oh. My melee combo. Please.
You shall fall soon enough.
He is getting hit by that, right? Excellent work. Like, that's unjust if he's not getting hit by that. I'd get hit by that if I did like that. That'd be unjust.
You underestimate me.
I'm sure that clips whenever you use Lachey Contra. It looks like it clips. I've actually never like bothered to check what it looks like it. So I'm just gonna assume it clips.
You shall fall soon enough.
This knight does not yield.
The only reason I can throw out an acceleration like that is because there's no second part to this combo. Or a fourth part? No, fifth part to the melee combo. You don't have enough time to actually use anything else. Ooh, casting. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's not bring that to me. That's not the insert. I'll say that much. I'll have to adjust it later. I didn't even know Connie Senna was in the field. I didn't have to run away from that. Okay. Wow, that was a lot of burst. Same Colossus, but bigger. Not worth using my 2 minutes here. Eventually, LSA will just the trigger. It's not worth it.
Time to get serious.
I'd appreciate if she did that earlier. But you know, beggars can't be choosers or something. And like, these savages bested our vanguards. Impressive. But in the end, that they are only that. Savages. Now let us be brief. His radiance awaits. I know these are like the guards that accompanied the Emperor. Like, who are they exactly? Hey. Okay. I wasn't ready yet, but okay. Are you gonna tag out yet? I don't know why they walk that way. I guess it's safer? Oh, eruption. I should know there was eruption in this fight. No, Alice, no. No, Alice. Can't be Alice. We've served our purpose. Come, we shall withdraw for now. I didn't realize they even lived. Will we ever see them again? I don't even know. I didn't realize they lived. Alrighty. End of that dungeon.
We did it! I dare say they'll be reeling from this.
You were truly inspiring in battle, my friend. I'm determined not to be outdone, but there seems to be no one left to fight.
A tactical withdrawal, perhaps?
We should give chase. Finish them off while we have the chance. Imagine the other surprise when they wake to find the war already won.
The light will expunge all life. Only you can forestall the calamity. Throw wide the gates.
No! 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 Not like...
Oh no, don't tell me. Are you all right? Quickly, we must get her back to the encampment.
Eliza is being cared for at the infirmary. Would that there were more we could do for her. So the Garleans have been routed, have they? Well done. Though this exchange was no more than a test of our strength, like as not. We won't be taking any chances now that the Emperor has joined the fray. They'll want to take their time, whittle down our defenses. Still, with your help and that of our eastern allies, we've passed the first test. Our line is unbroken. As for Alize, well, she's in good hands over at the infirmary. My lord, the Kyrugians have completed their examination of Mr. Salazar, and is as we feared. He is locked in slumber without any outward cause. Just like the others. Damn it all. Aye, the Guardians picked a fine time to come knocking. 5 scions incapacitated, and with the enemy on our doorstep, I cannot spare the men to assist in the search for a cure. The best I can do is see to it that Alizé is escorted safely back to the Rising Stones. Yugiri and I will return to our encampments. The main contingent of our forces from the far east is under sail, and all must be made ready for their arrival. I'll not keep you then. Judging by the Garleans' recent movements, or lack thereof, they won't be launching another offensive in the immediate future. You should return to the Rising Stones. Given the plight of your fellow scions, I can understand if you feel on edge, but you'll do no good to anyone without rest. I guess this is also the only time we've been truly alone too, huh? I guess you can argue we started the adventure. Oh no, not even done. Even the opening scene started with the twins in the carriage. I don't think there's ever been truly a time where we've been alone. Ah, Hikaru, welcome home. Word has it you and Mr. Salazar gave the Guardians quite a thrashing. Speaking of whom, where is Mr. Salazar? I was certain she would have returned by now. Right at 12. Not her too. Alker and I will ready the infirmary for her arrival. We'll also need to send a message to Tataru post-haste. But that I had something other than grim tidings to share with her. And with you too, for that matter. It grieves me to report that the Archon's condition remains unchanged. As we speak, Ultimate, Trial, and Master Matoya continue to explore every possible avenue. Alas, their efforts have yet to bear fruit. But all is not lost. You are still hale and whole, after all. But I suspect you must be tired from your journey. You should rest, my friend. Leave the worrying to us, for the time being at least. I believe we're right at the end of Stormblood. Like, right on the end. Meanwhile, at the border of Alamigo. We'll just finish off Stormblood. Unless I crash again. What is it good for? Ah, Hikaru. Yours is a welcome face indeed in these troubled times. Though if you've come to inquire about our stricken brothers and sisters, I'm afraid I have naught to report. Fultoned and the others continue their tireless search for answers, and I too have done all in my power to assist them. Alas. My apologies for the intrusion. I was told Master Alphino had been brought here and wished to see if his condition had improved. Mr. Hikaru, I've heard about the part you played in driving back the Empire's forces. Thank you. That you were able to stop them, if only for a short while, gives me hope. I realize how strange such words must sound coming from a Garlean's lip. But I speak them out of love I bear for my homeland, because I wish to see an end to the bloodshed. That is why I chose to share all that I know with the Alliance. That will surely be branded a traitor. I am content to bear the ignominy. It will seem a small price to pay if it helps to prevent this conflict from escalating any further. But enough of my prattling. The war is not what brought me all this way. I came to see Master Alphinaud. An acquaintance of Icaro and Alphinaud, are you? Well, far be it from me to turn away good company. You follow me, sir. Do we get to? Oh, we do get to see inside. No, we don't. When word reached me that Alphinaud had returned, it seemed only right that I visit him. Poor lad. It pains me to see him thus, but I take solace in the knowledge that he is safe and well cared for. He fought valiantly at the burn. The Popularis could not have wished for a more committed ally. I know not how he came to be so afflicted, but I pray care will be found. On an unrelated note, you may be interested to know that I have traveled here in the company of another acquaintance of yours. He waits my return at North Silvertear, and I am certain he will be glad to see you, assuming you can spare the time, that is. Oh, I know who he's talking about. Who is he talking about? I actually don't remember. I have the faintest idea of who he's talking about. Ah, there you are. I was beginning to think you would not come. Oh, it's Sid. It sounds like you've been through the mill. You should have called me. Though I must confess, tracking down missing souls isn't exactly within my field of expertise. As you may have surmised, I've heard much of Master Garland growing up in Garlemald. Indeed, he has long been a source of inspiration to me. Most Garleans would say he is a traitor, and he turned his back on his country. We of the Popularis, however, consider him a revolutionary, a man willing to defy the Empire's dream of subjugation, that his invention might bring about a better future for all mankind. Please, revolutionary is a term best reserved for my work, for I am but an Imperial defector who thought to aid another Imperial defector. Whatever Master Garland says, I am humbled to find myself in such distinguished company. Speaking of this distinguished company, we heard from Raban that you ran into an old friend in the burn. Is it true? Gaius still lives. Like most in the army, I had never had the privilege of seeing the Legatus without his mask. To think I walked halfway across the burn in the presence of the Black Wolf. And he claims to have severed ties with the Empire to hunt the Ascians, did he? After his humbling at the Praetorium, one would think he'd have good sense to stay dead. Should we meet again, I will be sure to tell him so. Commander Aldin also spoke of the Alliance's meeting with the Emperor, though I still labor to believe what he told us. Did his Radiance really claim that Garlemald was founded by the Ascians? But that is madness. The very notion is absurd. Every fiber of my being rails against it, yet I see there is no escaping the truth. From the very founding of my homeland, my brothers and sisters have laid down their lives in service to a lie. The Assassins must be stopped, to save my people and to save all peoples. For all the Empire's many crimes, even I did not suspect. Had I known, I would have left a lot sooner. But that is in the past. Here in the present, we must apply ourselves to the problem of how the Empire's ambitions may be thwarted, not only in Eorzea, but in the Far East as well. The Ironworks will spare no effort to achieve that end. Seriu's wall was a good start, but we can do more. And we will. We'll show them what it means to achieve freedom through technology. Begging your pardons, I bear a message for the Warrior of Light. Commander Alden requests your presence at the Alliance headquarters in Alamigo. He will discuss matters of strategy at your earliest convenience. Ah yes, the inevitable messenger. I knew it wouldn't be long before duty called you away. Time, no doubt, being of the essence. I tempt you to ride on borrowed to Excelsior. If there's a faster way to rob on side, I will personally apologize to the commander for keeping him waiting. I mean, teleporting is faster, but you know what? You're saving money. I'll take it. I too will make for the border anon. If there is aught I can do to help, I consider my duty to see it done. I swear every time you board my airship, you seem to be barreling headlong into danger, and every time you somehow contrive to emerge victorious, which of course is an admirable skill. But no one is invincible, Hikaru. Not even you. So please, take care of yourself out there. I pray you remain safe on the front lines. Though ill-equipped to join the fray, I shall do all I can to assist from headquarters. My colleagues and I have been tasked with evacuating casualties by air. See that you aren't among them, hey? Alright, the final quest. A Requiem for Heroes. Commander Alden is waiting, my lady. It would be best if we proceed to our Alliance headquarters at once. Are you ready? Yes. We do often go alone, but this is a very weird feeling, though. You're here. Good. I summon you to discuss strategy, but first I would apprise you of the Guardian's movements. Several cutscenes will play, that's fine. We're in for the long haul now.
There have been several skirmishes along the border, but as yet neither side has delivered a decisive blow. We had long assumed that the Garleans would overwhelm us in a straight fight, but we seem to be gaining ground, albeit slowly. As to why that might be, the most likely explanation is that they have yet to commit all their forces. Still, we're winning, and our latest intelligence suggests the Emperor has retreated back to Garlemald. In light of this, we're considering launching an offensive with the aim of pushing the front line forward and giving ourselves some room to breathe.
Commander! The Imperials! They've broken through our defenses to the east.
What?
Our scouts say their forces are being led by Lord Xenos. Lord Heian and Commander Hext have taken their troops to provide support, but we don't know how long they can hold out.
So, they've been biding their time, waiting for his arrival, have they? Very well. Send word to our allies, requesting reinforcements for the front line. Should the worst come to the worst, I may need to enter the fray myself. But what of you? Do you still have the strength to fight?
As long as you leave the asset to me.
He may not die as such, but to see Lord Xenos fall on the battlefield would deal a heavy blow to Imperial morale. I'll see to it the men stay clear.
Why won't they open? Please, I bid you open.
What's wrong? Is it the voice again? Are you sure you're in a fit state to do this? May Ralga grant us strength. Give 'em hell, lass. I, for my part, will defend this place to my dying breath.
Meanwhile, at the border of Alamigo. Even get. Okay. Oh, Hyda's putting a dog break my combo, by the way. That's not how that works. Dash cancel. No sprint.
Shinobi's power. my forebears.
You think she would just... You would think she would just LB 4 times to Xenos instead, you know? I think that would be a better use of her time. Okay, sure. Ow.
Magic with a Garlean body. That's hardly fair. Still, he must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Bringer of light. It has been too long. No words to mark our reunion? So be it.
Not like we say much anyways.
Equilibrium must be restored. And only your death will redress the balance.
Really just using Ascian moves, huh? very interesting way of doing damage. Did she just naturally regen? They do an interesting way of doing damage. They make it so it's avoidable damage. Shut up. That's wide. Wait, they space things out that's avoidable damage? Mostly. That thing died before. He said.
I see. Your mother chose her champion well. Yet, for all your strength, you will still fail.
I beseech you.
Someone calls to you. Too late, alas.
At last, I found you. There's no cause for alarm. Though, I confess, this is not where I had intended to meet. But the place of our meeting is of no consequence, like the war you wage. Win or lose, the path you walk leads only to oblivion. The better path leads you here, to me. I have need of your strength.
You have to send me back now.
The battle is over, the danger past, but your work is not yet done. Go to the Crystal Tower. I have left something for you near its base. It will serve as a beacon of sorts, one which I pray will help you on your journey. All you need do is find it. I will take care of the rest. Soon, we will throw wide the gates, and the path to the first will be yours to walk at last.
You're awake. Thank heavens.
Where is Xenos? What did happen? I don't remember what happened in the details.
I see you recall that much, at least. In the midst of your duel, it is said you faltered, and that the Crown Prince seized the opportunity to deliver a mortal blow. Yet before his blade could find its mark, he was distracted by the arrival of a second adversary who bore you away from the battlefield and into the hands of our chirurgeons. Lest you wonder, he left before you awoke. As is his wont.
Oh, it's Justinian. I see.
Estinian never was one for emotional farewells. Though Xenos bested all before him, the battle clearly took its toll, for he retreated shortly after your rescue. Seeing this, the remaining Imperial forces decided discretion was the better part of valor and pulled back, allowing us to re-establish our position. We have since received word of renewed unrest in the provinces, doubtless inspired by the efforts of the Eorzean Alliance and our Far Eastern allies. Nor does the good news end there. We have also come into possession of intelligence suggesting unrest within the Imperial Court. This would certainly explain why both the Emperor and Lord Xenos appear to have abandoned the fight. A long-awaited ray of hope in these dark times.
One of the scions.
Yet to awake, I'm afraid. But please, concentrate on your own recovery for now. You have carried the hopes of some half-dozen nations, and we are all eternally grateful for your efforts. But no one is without their limits, not even you. Leave this fight to us, my friend. You have earned your rest. But before I forget, I was asked to deliver a message as soon as you awoke. A reminder that you are not alone, though many of your allies have fallen. When you are well and rested, you are to return home, where friends will be waiting for you. Now, if you will excuse me, I must return to the front. May we meet again soon, under happier circumstances.
Well, this is a most unexpected surprise. I thought you confined to bed. When I heard that you had collapsed on the field of battle, I confess I feared the worst. With you standing here before me, I see now that the reports of your defeat was greatly exaggerated. Thank the Fury. As long as we have you, Mistress Akari, history suggests we have a fighting chance. Speaking of fighting, you may be surprised to hear that the war's effect can already be felt even here in Ishgard. In anticipation of need for reinforcements, Artoriel will soon be departing for the front lines with a contingent of our finest knights. I would advise you to stay until your strength has returned, but I know it would be an exercise in futility. Indeed, I suspect you already have decided on your next destination. Dark days lie ahead. Of that I have no doubts. But the light of hope shall ever guide our steps so long as we have the will to press onward. And press onward we must. Farewell, my friend. I pray our next meeting will be under happier circumstances. And the Xenos take over his body again.
By the 12! I don't believe it! I rushed back as soon as I could. I swear, my heart nearly stopped when I heard you'd collapse like the others. What in heaven's name is going on? Win or lose, the path you walk leads only to oblivion. Oh, well, that's helpful.
And what else did he say? The better path leads to him? If his is the voice you've all been hearing, perhaps the others are with him! Sir Emmerich said the fighting had reached a stalemate, didn't he? But if that monster masquerading as Xenos comes back... Thancred, Yestola, Urianger, Alphino, Alize... You're going to need all of them on your side to defeat him! And I forbid you from going to face him on your own, do you hear me? So if you must leave, go and find the others. Bring them home. As for where to start, you said the stranger had left a beacon for you at the Crystal Tower, right? But how are you to find it, now that the tower has been sealed shut? There has to be a way. If anyone would know, it's Sid, and the researchers of St. Coinac's find. Don't you worry, we'll find that beacon for you.
That's true. I forgot about that part where the Crystal Tower is shut. I actually didn't consider that part at all. Haven't thought about it.
I pray you have good reason for abandoning the front.
How could I remain there while the rumor that my son is possessed by a demon spreads like a sickness here at home? I will not be made to fight for the throne a second time. But what of you? Did you not tell me you would destroy Eorzea's champion with the ease that one might swat a fly?
A minor setback. She will not escape me again. Where is your grandsire? I would have words with him.
How should I know? Do you hide from each other's sight as well? I imagine he's doing what all Ascians do.
He must have found a way to take advantage of this turmoil.
Men are not pawns to be played with, Ascian. You underestimate us at your peril. This war will not be decided by you and yours. Man must choose his own fate, and I, for my part, will do all within my power to see Garlemald emerge victorious.
Pray forgive the intrusion, Your Radiance, but the requested preparations are now complete. We stand ready to begin production of Black Rose upon your order.
The Xenos would come up a lot faster. Or not, or actual Xenos. Oh, what to say about Stormblood? To say about Stormblood. Still not my most favorite. I personally didn't like it too much. It felt very split between the whole Doma and Alamigo storylines. Rather than just focusing on one storyline. It's always been something that I had a gripe over. Felt like there's a lot of content just cut for both. But I also think Stormblood was kind of doomed because they're forced to follow up on Heavensward. Or Heavensward was a very good story. So it feels like such a loaded, not loaded, but it feels like the cards were dealt against them. Like, I don't think Stormblood was worse than AR. Like, I could easily say AR was worse. But when you put these expansions against each other, hard for Stormblood to take over. It's hard for it to ever hold a candle over them. It's not like Stormblood was like terrible. It was okay. It's a very mid expansion. The thing that Stormblood did bring was like the fights. I think the fights were fun, but story-wise, it still feels lacking to me. Although you could argue that Stormblood's a rehashing of setting the story again. That makes sense. They do a lot of prep that I did not catch the first time I was playing this. Especially the Shadowbringers. This is the first time they talked about, like, well, I don't know if it's like the exact first time, but it's the first explicit time they talked about the source and its reflections. Like, we were given that spiel from the Asians, but we don't know, like, to what extent they meant. And obviously with Artbert. Like, you learn that's like the first real part of reflections there. But you don't really learn, like, what do these reflections mean? Like, what worlds are they? So it comes down to what was Stormblood's true purpose? I feel like it was a AR light. To come to a story preparation to a better climax and a different expansion. Because I still firmly believe that Shadowbringers is a standalone expansion was probably one of the best. The story in Shadowbringers was very good. The only reason why I have Endwalker like equally up there is because I found it a very good encompassing of the 10-year story from ARR. But as a standalone expansion, I still believe Shadowbringers is better. You can kind of use Stormblood as a preface to set up the next expansions. Similar to our AR had. And no way. That's kind of how I view it. I just view it as a good encompassing story. Or a setup to a good encompassing story. That's how I view it as currently. I do still think Stormblood's weak. I won't deny that. But the necessary weak is my end all of this whole story. I think it was necessary to be written the way it was, kind of. Because we never got a conclusion to the whole Golem mod story. It's something that was introduced in AR and just... yeah, they're the bad guys, that's it. But they never really went into depth into what they did. And this will come back again in Endwalker. But if you don't have Stormblood in between AR and Endwalker, it doesn't make it doesn't make sense at Endwalker's point. I'm assuming they wrote storyboard for some of these, at least a couple of years in advance. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. But that is my end all be all the story. I didn't like the story that much, but I really like the fights in this expansion. TLDR. And I'm very excited for Shadowbringers. That is something I really enjoyed. Alrighty. We'll leave it here for now. Mostly because that is just a miscellaneous end of a quest. And we can just start Shadowbringers whenever the heck I decide to do this again. Because I cannot keep a stable schedule apparently. Anywho. Thank you for watching and thank you for sticking around. Hope you have a good rest of your day or night, wherever you are. And take care. Bye-bye.